The United States of America, the greatest country in the world, a melting pot of different races and cultures, perfectly blended together in the form of 50 states, an economic superpower. One may ask, how did our founding fathers come up with such an amazing nation as this? Well, the answer is simple. Ancient philosophers like Socrates, Plato, Aristotle, and many more greatly influenced our founding fathers. However, this video will revolve around my personal favorite philosopher, Niccolo Machiavelli, and how his teachings are still present in the America we know and love today. Niccolo Machiavelli was an ancient Italian philosopher who relied heavily on logic. One of his most notable works was The Prince, which was basically a how-to-rule book for dummies. But this book had bad reviews at the time because the theories he had come up with seemed preposterous, so many either brushed his book off as pure comic relief while others called him a devil for his blunt approach. I would have to say, to sum up his whole philosophy in one sentence, it would be to achieve success by any means necessary. In his case, success meant ruling a kingdom and staying in charge. As you can see, Niccolo wasn't your average happy-go-lucky, virtue rules philosopher like Socrates, but a man who produced results even if he had to get his hands dirty. At this point, a patriotic American sophist might say,
"Hey, America is a land of the free and home of the brave. America is a safe haven from all injustice. And this great nation was brought up and will continue to be brought up by virtuous deeds."
However, this country was built on lies and deception, but let's save that for another video. In order to show how Machiavelli has influenced America, I'll lay out a few points from his literary work, The Prince, and compare each point to America. Learning from thy predecessors, choosing your friends wisely, and appearances. These 3 points are implemented in the American government and culture. Starting with learning thy predecessors, Machiavelli says, "A wise man ought always to follow the paths beaten by great men, and to imitate those who have been supreme, so that if his ability does not equal theirs, at least it will savor of it." All the successful presidents and entrepreneurs have mimicked others who have achieved similar greatness. Barack Obama's ideals were heavily influenced by Abraham Lincoln. Even in everyday life, this lesson is instilled in us. As a child, we were always told to mimic our parents because they went through the same thing we went through. This is also why we are told to respect our elders. So the next time you see your granddad, tell him Machiavelli is the only reason I still put up with you. Now, moving on to choosing your friends wisely, Machiavelli says, "The mercenary captains are either capable men or they are not. If they are, you cannot trust them, because they always aspire to their own greatness, either by oppressing you, who are their master, or others contrary to your intentions. But if the captain is not skillful, you are ruined the usual way." In order to be a successful president or ruler, you need to have a functional team behind your back. Let's take John McCain for example. His campaign was destined to fail because he chose Sarah Palin as his vice president. Unfortunately for McCain, the media views Sarah Palin as a complete imbecile, so his votes decreased tremendously. On the other hand, Barack Obama chose Joe Biden as his vice president. Biden excelled in foreign affairs where Obama lacked. Now, it all boils down to you are the company you keep. This is how the law views you as well. Let's say if you are the driver in a homicide case. If your friend goes out and kills someone, then you'll get the same punishment as your friend, even if you didn't know that he was going to kill someone. It's called guilty by association. Learn it well, my friends. In today's culture, a certain trend has been arising, which is calling people snakes. Well, the Urban Dictionary defines a snake as a scamming backstabber, someone who does something just to get something out of it. It seems Machiavelli has invaded pop culture as well. His views are present all across the board. Now, moving on to the last principle, which is appearance. Machiavelli says men judge generally more by the eye than by the hand because it belongs to everybody to see to you. Too few to come in touch with you, everyone sees what you appear to be. Few really know what you are. He believed it was important for a ruler to be feared rather than loved. Love may change at any given second, but fear will last as long as you have that object that puts them in fear. Also, you can't be hated as well because you will be overthrown. That means you need to hire people to do your dirty work for you. You also need to have a valid reason why you give out punishment. Every aspect of America revolves around appearance. All the successful rulers as leaders who used fear as a way to rule were successful. The Black Panthers, slave owners, Donald Trump, Malcolm X, just to name a few. However, one must find a way to be feared but not hated, because hatred will either cause you to be impeached, fired, or even killed. This is why the president has the FBI, the Secret Service, and the troops so they can kill everyone for him and still remain virtuous. In the workforce, it is almost customary for you to fear your boss. You fear your boss because he has the power to fire you, which prompts you to work harder and respect him. This is also why crime syndicates like the Mexican cartel are still successful in running to this day, because they have members who fear them. This may also explain why cops are becoming more brutal in order to instill fear in us, causing us to straighten out. But the problem is, they aren't appearing virtuous. Now that their dirty work is being broadcasted through social mediums, they're beginning to become hated. And we all know what happens when you become hated. Now, if the police department required every recruit to read The Prince by Machiavelli, then there wouldn't be any Eric Garner or Ferguson case. As you can see, Machiavelli is present in almost every aspect from government to even pop culture. I mean, look at Machiavelli the rapper. Come on now. So if we were heavily influenced by an Italian philosopher, then can I say it's American to eat pizza? Well, I'll have to get back with you on that, but I can say that Niccolo Machiavelli has influenced American culture tremendously.